what is money? I'd love to hear you guys' take on that in under 30 seconds. Actually, no one's been able to answer this question in my entire life.
What is
Where
money?
does money come? No,
Oh,
where
okay.
does money come from?
Oh,
Where
you're
does
talking to
money
the right
come
people.
from?
We can answer that question.
1, 2, 3, baby.
Hey guys, Raf here from the Endgame Investor with my friend Phil Lowe of the Bitter Draft and technical trader Johnny Bravo. I didn't expect to have him on the show at all, but Phil, with his big mouth, mentioned him in our last podcast together, and he actually commented below asking to invite, wanting to respond to whatever Phil had said to him or about him, and he's on the show now. So it's a real pleasure to have you on, and thanks for coming on.
Oh, absolutely. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a great sport for coming on. Thank you.
I'll tell you, I got one of my subscribers, and I think they wanted, if there's anything juicy, any tea, they're like, they're talking crap about you, Bravo. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I can't believe it. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And so I jumped over there, and I'm like, hey guys, whatever you want, let's go.
Wait, so my first question has nothing to do with finance. I'm just curious.
It's my hair. It's my hair.
It's my head, Schwartz. It's my head.
It's not the hair. Actually, you kind of remind me of John Malkovich, your voice a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because he Dafka didn't have any hair, but you kind of have the same inflections as I'll put it in. We'll do a comparison.
Malkovich.
All right.
But anyway, before I'll give the mic to Phil after I ask this question. But how did you end up with Johnny Bravo? Are you related to the cartoon? Do you know any people there? Are you behind the cartoon? Are you the creator? And if you aren't, did you have to license the name?
No, nothing. I just ripped it. So how it transpired was the YouTube channel was my original name, which is really long. It's actually William Augustus Stenzel III. And in marketing, it just doesn't do well. When people are like, hey, William Augustus Stenzel III, and then in the comments, everyone was like, yo, Bravo, Johnny Bravo. It was always Johnny Bravo. So I had to just constantly and then I put up a poll. And this was probably, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago. I've been doing the channel for probably 8. And I said, if you want me to change it, if it's, 95% or above, I'll change it. And it was like 100%. So I just went with Jay Bravo. And so here he is today, all in his hairspray.
Have you ever feared Cartoon Network knocking on your door and asking for royalties?
No.
I will see you in court.
It would just be because it's just the letter J and then Bravo.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's still kind of a stretch, but whatever. If they want, I can change it to something else, but maybe just Bravo. But I could take it. But I just want to let you guys know I am just for your audience knows we have not had any conversation whatsoever. So it wasn't like, we pre-talked and what are we going to talk about? And I just want to let you guys know I'm a complete open book. You could ask anything you want. Anything.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I'm going to keep it to certain topics. But,
except for what happened in college. But
Yeah.
just because you cut down one tree doesn't make you a lumberjack, right?
It's such an honor. I have been to the dark side. I have seen a world that no man should see.
All right. I'm not going to ask you about what happened in college. Okay. So what I said at the beginning is I'm going to ask a question and I'm going to answer it, and then you play off of that, and then Phil, I'll open it to you. So my first question is, what exactly is it that you provide to the market? Because I'll answer it before you get to it. And I'm not coming at this from a direction of, all technical traders, they don't provide anything and they just make money and they don't put anything into the economy. I'm not coming from that direction, because you do provide something. Like, when I say what does a tire salesman provide to the economy? He provides tires, and he makes money because he buys tires for cheap and sells tires for expensive. He buys tires low, sells tires high, and he makes a profit. That's what everybody does, right? So the question is not what are you providing in terms of your subscribers? I'm making them money because I'm telling them how to trade. What's the service that you're providing to the economy as a greater whole? And I think the answer to that question is liquidity, right?
Yeah.
If you're buying low and selling high in stocks, what you're doing when you're buying low, you're buying from sellers and then you're selling to buyers. That's basically what a market maker does. And what he's doing is he provides liquidity for buyers and sellers so that buyers can buy at lower prices and sellers can sell at higher prices. Did I mix that up? Well, look, whatever it is, you're providing liquidity to the market. Now, in a market where there's so much money printing that spreads liquidity out throughout the entire planet, right? There's just like a rush of liquidity, especially since COVID. So in that environment, it would need a lot of people like you to direct the liquidity to buyers and sellers to make it more efficient, just because there's so much of it. Now the problem where we come from is that at some point that money printing is going to stop, and then there's going to be a lot less need for people like you who technically trade, and there will be a lot less opportunity to make money because the liquidity is going to dry up, the dollar liquidity at least, and it's all going to go back to gold. So do you foresee in terms of money the end of the dollar, and what do you see as your role in such an economy where inflation just totally destroys everything?
You're asking me, right, Rafi?
Yeah.
Wow, that was okay. That was like a 5-point question. Okay. Whew, because I am moderately like stupid. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I know the answer. And then you said it. And I'm like, ah, shoot. So yes, I mean, from like a macro perspective, liquidity. If you remove that, it's more why let's go to like the heart issue. Why do you do what you do? Why, what is it that you bring? Like I taught high school, I taught university. I've owned everything from day spas to software companies and all that kind of stuff.
Sorry, what did you teach in university? I'm just curious.
Oh, I taught teachers how to teach, and I taught like finance.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that way they didn't suck, because most teachers suck.
Yeah.
And I hate school. And then I go and, whatever. That's so I like school, teaching school. I was like the teacher that went in there and I'm like, guys, you're not going to use any of this. Just trust me. I think I got another path. And then I'd always almost be fired. So I would order like pallets of fidget spinners, give them to the kids for $1. They'd sell them for 20. They'd make money. They're like, wow, this is how I want to live my life. So I guess I'm providing liquidity there. But everything that I taught was start businesses and trade equities. So once they got the money going in their businesses, now I'll tie this around to what you asked, just so it doesn't look like I'm chasing squirrels, which I usually do. So I did that for about 23 years. And then I just had I could solve more problems on YouTube with a larger audience. So I did that. And I've basically just carried over what I did from teaching high school and college to now on YouTube, providing liquidity and making people's digits go up, which I found over time, it actually does work. I'm not selling anything that's like, doesn't work. It's a scam. I mean, I have about 50,000 students that have purchased the course with a 0% refund rate. And the amount of people that I emails every day of like, wow, this really works. I can't believe it. So
who's that handsome guy? Hello, 911 emergency. There's a handsome guy in my house.
That's what I like to do. That's why I do it, is because someone that's like, man, an extra $400 would really help. Okay, just click here. Click there again. Ta-da. And it sounds stupid. And I never thought that I would take my portfolio and swing it. So like on the S&P 500, you guys are familiar with like the MACD, just simple 9-day moving average. I call it the Bravo 9. And it would swing and it would get one candle close above the 9-day moving average, which is the Bravo 9. And I would move my portfolio up. And then when it got to the top, I would close my position and then wait for it to go one candle close below, and I'd follow it down. And it was like, oh my gosh, this actually works. So that's what I've done forever. And then I just carried that over onto YouTube. Now you have other questions about the dollar. I'd love to get it. This is super interesting. But Rafi, did you have any, or either of you guys, do you have any questions about me clicking a button on a screen, not really caring, like, am I providing, yeah, I'm providing liquidity, but any questions about that before we go into the dollar and money printing and all that?
Sure. And for the record, I think people back me up in the past. I never accused you of running a scam. What I said was you are, to use the analogy, if you imagine the gold rush in 1849, yes. A bunch of people showed up and started selling shovels to the miners. And it's not a scam. People want the shovels. My question, if I had a criticism, I would say the Bravo-Matic 5000 shovel is a very expensive shovel. And yeah. The question isn't, does the shovel dig gold out of the ground? The question is, does the Bravo-Matic 5000 dig gold out of the ground faster than the Home Depot shovel? So I'll let you post what evidence do you have that your shovels work better?
Yeah, well, so back testing would be one. Two, everyone who does it. Three, did I miss two or three? That it is true about shovels. The one who makes the shovels makes the most money. So I'm not stupid. And I'm not going to lie to you and say that I don't make more money selling shovels than I do on the swings. Well, it's still pretty damn good either way you cut it, but I'm not, so it works. And I'll show, and people buy the shovel and they also have the gold, which I've been preaching gold and silver for 8 years too. I'm like, own gold, own silver. And if you want, you can move the, SLV or GLD, make those digits go up with your shovel and then buy more gold and silver. So yeah, and I have about, if you do what you probably saw was I have an AI company that trades, I have bots that then trades my patterns that then we put AI on top of it. And it's very expensive to run. That's Chart Prime. And it trades my strategies with AI. And it's one of the only companies out there. And it's one of the only companies out there that's real. And I don't want to go into when I say when it's real. I just know the other competitors, and I'll just leave it at that.
Human decisions are removed from strategic defense. Skynet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, August 29th.
But this is a very, and my audience, and I show all my numbers every day, well, whenever anyone wants it. I'm on mobile right now. I'd love to show it. I just would end up closing my foldable phone and never finding you guys ever again. But so we ran a Chart Prime. It was like 2,500, I think, for the year. But I was making $1,500 a day letting the bots and AI trade. So, and that's up to them if they want to or not. Then there's like, do you even know how to trade? Then there's my course, which is $299, which, you could make that up in a day. And I actually took a student, and I'm sorry if I'm long-winded. You guys can always cut me off. Are we okay?
Okay. Yeah. Keep going. I'll cut you off soon.
I usually am not long-winded. I hate talking. What was I saying? Oh, I took a student, and he reached out to me, and I kind of got his background. And I've always I love mentoring people. I like meeting someone like my high school students. And then one of the kids went on and created Movement watches and sold it for 300 million. So it's like, and it's like, well, I'm broke. Well, crowdfund it, Jake. Okay, he crowdfunds it. And then he starts a watch company and sells it. And so I took this kid, this adult, this is just recently, probably over the last 5 months, broke, no job, early 40s, But he had a real desire. He's like, I believe it. I know it. I know it. And what else? Oh, he has Asperger's. I mean, anything. Oh, no money in the bank. I'm like, show me your bank account. I'm like, if I'm gonna, and it was terrible. I'm like a terrible mentor. I'm like, okay, you got to listen to everything that I say. You got to follow. Don't question anything. He's like, all right. And then he starts. I'm like, okay, that was one question. You can't do that. So yeah, zero in his bank account. And I said, in 1 year, I'm going to make you a millionaire. And he's like, I don't believe you, but okay, let's do this. So he cleared the over 100,000 mark within the first, I would say, month and a half, maybe 2 months. And so I've been working with him, and that's what I do with everyone. It's like, we're going to start here and we're going to go up to here. And it's with businesses, it's with gold and silver, and it's with clicking buttons on a screen. Okay, where did
so wait, that interests me. What do you advise people with gold? What do you do with gold and silver? Do you just stack them, or do you stack a percentage and then trade some other percentage? What do you do with those things?
You hold it. Gold. It's like Bitcoin. You just hold it. It's just a cool shiny thing. And it keeps up. It should keep up with inflation. It's just old people money, and it just keeps up with money. Well, it keeps up, which I want to go into. What is money? I'd love to hear you guys' take on that in under 30 seconds. Actually, no one's been able to answer this question in my entire life. Where does money come?
Oh.
No.
I broke the window again.
Where
Okay.
does money come from?
Oh,
Where
you're
does
talking to
money
the right
come
people.
from?
We can answer that question. Okay, so very very simply, I'll give my very quick answer, and then Phil will give his very quick answer. Money is the most liquid commodity in an economy. If there's a group of people trading things, they eventually realize which things trade better than other things, and then they hoard that thing in order to make other trades. So it's like the question of what is the hardest substance on the planet is diamonds. Nobody created diamonds. Diamonds are a natural thing. So there is a most liquid commodity in an economy, and the most liquid one in any economy. In prisons, it could be a tins of mackerel, but in a global economy where we have access to everything, it's generally gold and silver. And so most trades are made with those things. And then you can name the various properties of gold and silver which make them the most liquid commodity, but that's just describing what actually is the most liquid commodity, because everything really is barter, and money is just barter with the most liquid thing. That's all it is. And everything else is derivative on top of that. Dollars are derivative on top of the money, which is gold and silver. And then you have deposits, it's a derivative of cash money on top of that. And then you have bonds, which are derivative on top of that. Then you have other things like Bitcoin, which is a derivative of a derivative of a derivative of a derivative on top of everything. And Phil, what's your answer?
Sure. So you're probably more sophisticated than this answer requires. I just wanted to, for an audience member who may not be, fluent in Hayekian economics, if you go to a market and you have gizmos and you want a widget, and there's a guy trading widgets, but he doesn't want a gizmo, he wants a doodad. So you take your gizmo and you go to the doodad salesman and you trade your gizmo for a doodad, and then you take your doodad over to the widget, and then now you have what you want, and the other guy has what he wants, right? The doodad became a money. The whatever that thing was in the middle, but that was the medium of the exchange, became the money. However, the paper dollars that we are using as a money, they are a note of credit. They are simply a note of credit. They are not money in itself. They are a note for gold. They are gold notes for which the Federal Reserve has printed 90 million tons worth of gold, against which it has 8,300 tons. So it is our philosophy that we are inexorably heading back into a sound gold standard. In the meantime, as those dollars are being created, they are being put somewhere. And where are they being put? Into the stock market. So everyone who is participating in the stock market is doing very, very well. When those dollars migrate over to consumer goods, we are going to have some sort of financial panic, probably on a large scale.
We might be having that already.
Yeah, we might be having that already.
We'll see.
To answer your question, it's a commodity. Money is and must be a commodity.
It's a physical thing. It's not an agreement between people. It's not a social contract. It's a thing. It's a thing that exists, and then you can have agreements of what other things represent that thing, but it always has to go back to the original money because prices must reach back into the past, otherwise they make no economic sense. So therefore everything goes back to gold and silver ultimately, and that's where everything will go back to once the pyramid that's built on top of it all collapses into nothingness.
So accidentally, you are holding an enormous amount of money, probably. I mean, real money, God's money.
Well, I want to go back to this is so great. I'm so glad that we're having this conversation because I think both of you guys are right, but you're also 100% wrong. So I know, don't you? I know, right? This is great. Okay. 98% of all money, and I'm just keeping this real simple. 98% of all money is what? In the world, 98% of all money. And I could be off by 1% or so. You're saying it's, man, you were like a college professor. So complex. I love it. But 90, you could actually boil it down to one word, but I don't want to be simple. So you're saying, because there's different forms of money. We can agree on that, correct?
I don't know.
Well, there's gold and silver.
Yeah, those are the two forms.
I can trade dollar. I can trade a sheet of paper.
Yeah, but that's a derivative of money. That's not money.
You're calling that a derivative. Okay, we can go down. We can go. Okay, so we can do the derivative thing. That's fine. Bitcoin is a derivative then.
Yeah, it's a derivative of like 5 different derivatives below it. Yeah, but
even though it was started with electricity.
Yeah, because it stands in for dollars. That's all it does. It just stands in for dollars. So once the dollar goes, then Bitcoin doesn't matter how many dollars it's worth. It's worthless. If it can't go back to gold, basically, everything has to go back to gold because there's a chain that ties today's economic transactions to past economic transactions, and it has to be constant chain, or else prices are meaningless, and then we're in a zombie apocalypse. You can't just make up prices.
Is that a Bordeaux behind you?
That is a giant wine bottle of a Malbec Marcelin that I got in Tzfat.
Okay.
I use it as my shamash for my Hanukkah menorah.
Let me try to
and Greek.
You speak Hebrew?
And I took at university Hebrew and Greek, and we just came back from Israel, so I'm familiar. There's a shine on the and I consume ethanol, so I was interested in the poison behind you.
Well, next time you're in Israel, let me know. We can meet up.
I'll let Bet Gimel Dalet. So, anyways, you guys are wrong, and I love this, and you're still, and I'll give you the answer, and then you can fight me. Just don't pull my hair. I mean, a little bit, a little bit. 98% of money is debt.
Yeah, 98% of the basically all of the credit that's on top of the gold supply is debt. Yeah, I mean, look at the Fed's balance sheet.
And what is it? What's gold? 9 trillion? 7 trillion?
7 trillion what?
What's the market cap of gold?
I don't know. I mean, however many ounces there are.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's 9 trillion. I could be wrong. I'm usually wrong. So money in a debt-based system is debt, and it's only debt, and it's brought out. Now I'll walk you through it, like how money is created. I can tell you how gold's created. I already told you how
debt of what? What do they owe?
I'll walk you through it. I'll try to be very simple. So we know how gold's created. Silver, diamonds, actually, they manufacture them now, and it's impossible to even tell. So we can actually manufacture diamonds. Bitcoin, electricity, the system. Someone builds a building, and they spray paint bank on the outside of it. They have nothing in it. I walk into that bank, and I say, I would like a loan. They don't have anything, but they get out a sheet of paper and they write $1 million on a sheet of paper. Now, mind you, there is no There's no goal. It doesn't matter. There's nothing. It's not backed by anything, yada, yada. They write $1 million on a check and they hand it to me. I then deposit that check into my bank. $1 million was just created out of thin air and does not exist. It is debt. I have to pay it back with interest. That's the second money that is created. You have debt, which is money in a debt-based system, and you have the interest. Those are two right there. That interest doesn't go away. How are you going to pay for then that said debt? Well, that's where the problem lies.
Yes.
Which we have to expand the system. But the so gold market cap, teeny. We're talking quadrillions. This is the money system.
We know.
Money.
We're the choir, man. You're the priest and we're the choir.
Yeah, you're preaching to us. So here's my question. What happens if you borrow $5 quintillion from the bank with the spray painted symbols on it, and all those $5 quintillion into the system?
Yeah.
Will people take that? Like there is some point at which people do not take those notes anymore.
Yeah, well, sure, maybe. I don't know, but they're taking them. So right now, all money is only one word, and it's debt. And it doesn't exist. And how do we make money disappear? Now let me ask you that question. How can you make money disappear?
You default on your debt. But that doesn't make money disappear.
Off.
That makes credit disappear. Either you pay it off or you stop paying it altogether. And
when it is paid off, money disappears.
Yeah.
When a loan is created, money is created. We're in a debt-based system. Quadrillions. 98% of all money, which in a debt-based system is only debt. That's it.
Yeah, but debt of what was Phil's question? A debt of what? When I say I'm in debt, what are you in debt of? For what units? Units of what?
You owe someone those digits.
Okay, but
$1 million.
what are the digits? What do they represent?
I mean, some people call them the dollar.
Yeah. What is the dollar?
Well, it's debt. So
okay, so that's circular. That's circular. That's where we come in. And we say, no. There's no disembodied circular floating economic monetary system. It all goes. It's attached to the ground somewhere. We're on a pyramid. We're not on a floating orb. Okay. So there's a ground level here. What's the ground level? A dollar is a debt of gold. Yeah. It still is a debt of gold. Yes, it is. It has to be.
I say no. It's the same thing. I could go to China, or I can create, I can get China. I want yuan. I want to do a yen carry trade. I take out a debt loan.
But what is the yuan? Yuan is a unit of what?
Well, it's their own fugazi.
No. It's a unit of dollars because the Bank of China, the People's Bank of China, stacks dollars. And what it's
but I could create an island, create a bank, and just create a same thing.
No. You'd have to start. You'd have to start with money. You'd have to start with the most liquid commodity on the island, or no one's going to take your credit. It's always attached to the most liquid commodity.
They could take it. Why not take it? It's a loan. I'll give you a loan.
But because it has no value if it's not attached to money. Let me ask you this question. Mr. Bravo. Okay. So
yes.
when you
always Mr. First.
When you woke up this morning, how did you know how much things cost? Let's say you didn't look at your phone.
I opened my wife's phone and I said, "What the hell did you just buy?" And then there's a digits attached.
Okay, and so imagine you didn't look at your phone. How would you know? And let's say there's a power outage and you can't ask anybody. How would you know how much things cost? How do you know how much work you have to do today to maintain your standard of living?
I agree with you. The dollar. Okay. Well, that's the word we use.
Okay, so
we just use the dollar, but it's debt. It's a debt. It's just.
I understand that. The point that I'm trying to make, though, is the basic answer to that question is I know how much things cost today because I knew what they were yesterday, and yesterday you knew because of the day before. Otherwise, there would be no prices. If everybody woke up tomorrow in a new world and nobody knew what the prices of anything was or were, there wouldn't be no division of labor. Nobody
Yeah.
would know what to do at all.
They're pegged
So
to the
all
dollar.
prices, what I'm saying is all prices have to
Yeah.
go into the past. If you go far enough into the past, far enough, eventually you get to a point where paper dollars are issued because somebody deposited gold at a bank and they got dollars in exchange. So originally the dollar is a note for gold. There is a bunch of debt piled on top of it. That's for sure. You're right about that.
Yeah.
But at
Yeah, we agree
bottom,
there.
once you clear all that debt away, once it's worthless, what's left is the gold on the balance sheet. That's
Nate.
it. That's what
Yeah.
that's what the money is. The dollar, when you owe debt, you owe a certain amount of gold. That is inescapable. Otherwise, prices make no sense.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Yes,
I mean, you have
anymore.
Bretton Woods, 71. So
71 is
we're
just
not
a
on
lie. All 71 said, all the closing of the gold window is, all it was Nixon saying we can no longer pay off this
Convert.
debt at 35 an ounce. Now it's going to go to whatever rate the market says, but there has to be a window
Yeah.
because the minute empirically, this is the last thing I'll say, empirically, the empirical proof, I'm giving you a logical proof, but the empirical proof is once the dollar can no longer be exchanged for any amount of gold anywhere, no one will take any dollars for gold. The dollar will not be able to buy a damn thing.
And I'm not saying anything more. Hey, Kitty, you're yelling at me. What are you saying? Time to wrap it up. She's saying time to wrap it up. We have to get on a jet.
Okay.
Okay, so was there what other like ravishing, because I know we can go down these macro holes, but I just move debt around and make more debt and then buy assets and stick people in them and things like that.
Fiat Money Inflation in France, 1933, by Andrew Dixon White. With the plethora of paper currency in 1791 appeared the first evidences of that cancerous disease which always follows large issues of irredeemable currency. At the great metropolitan centers grew a luxurious speculative stock gambling body, which, like a malignant tumor, absorbed into itself the strength of the nation and sent out its cancerous vibes to the remotest hamlets. At these city centers, abundant wealth seemed to be piled up. In the country at large, there grew a dislike of steady labor and a contempt for moderate gains and simple living. In the schemes and speculations put forth by stock jobbers and stimulated by the printing of more currency, multitudes of small fortunes were absorbed and lost, while a few swollen fortunes were rapidly aggregated in the larger cities.
But anything, any questions that you guys got for me? And I'll be quick. We'll do the 10 in under 1 minute, or 3, or 1 inch. I can do a lot with an inch.
We fight for that inch. We tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. That's gonna make the difference between winning and losing.
I got a question. Does your AI platform outperform your personal platform?
Yes.
Like the
No.
personal trading.
Yes and no. It depends on, like, some bots just go crazy and is like, oh my gosh. I mean, people at Sharp Prime wanted to like keep the bot and close everything and just quit their like, and I'm like, no. So some are just ridiculous. Like how I trade, my strategy is so good. It's so good.
Well, how
It's so
do you
good.
know? How do you recommend to a client if like use this AI or don't use this AI that Sharp Prime has? Like how would a client
you
know?
go onto it and you can see it back test. You can see it. You can see it. Okay, next question. Oh, she's telling me my time's up.
Okay. Tell me the most one of the weirdest trades you've had or one of the weirdest reactions. Just something entertaining.
I bought TLT and I held it.
TLT?
Yeah, it's the.
Oh, you mean
yeah.
the bond fund?
Yeah. I wanted to be an investor. One of my best friends, Stephen Van Meter, and Eurodollar University. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. I'm like, okay, it's a Head and Shoulders, and I bought it at the bottom, at the base, at the not the shoulder, the neckline, and I'm like, I'm going to lose my hiney, but it's going to go up. And I have been underwater on that thing for 4 years. So yes, I took a
Everyone makes
sizable amount
mistakes.
and I wanted to show people what it's like being an investor, and I hate it.
Well, I'll conclude on this. I think it's great that you're leading your clientele into gold and silver. I think that is the ultimate safe haven destination to be in. So I applaud you for directing them there. And if people want to take the risk and trade, it is an adult's game. You gotta trade and take your wins and take your losses. So if people want to participate, they can find Johnny Bravo where he is. Do you want to plug your channel?
Hey, no, you're fine. We're okay. I just really wanted to get on and say hi to you guys.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. It was really a pleasure, and I'm really honored that you wanted to come on. Like, you're a big guy, you know. I'm just a little channel.
I'm even smaller.
No. I'm always here to help. Whatever you guys, it's fun. I mean,
Okay.
when I was like, oh, this is great. Let's do the roasting. I was excited. Maybe
Good.
next time, you guys need to have more ammo. This was light. I can take
We're not interested in roasting you. We're just talking about money, you know.
your audience is.
Okay, well, I guess. Fine, I'll put
right,
in a
guys.
bunch of memes that totally mock you.
Okay, perfect.
All
All
right.
right, guys. Well, blessings to the both of you. Hanukkah and maybe Christmas on the other side, and
How
Happy
can you
New
tell?
Year.
All right.
Great one. Take
Wait,
care.
yeah,
Thank you very much
I think
again.
I think you had a Christmas tree back there, right?
I do. Yes.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
All right,
Bravo.
guys.
Bye.
All right. See ya.
Before I kill you, I just wanted you to know the last thing ever gets to smell will be my stinking breath.